What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Core Vision. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Bucks versus the Pacers. First round playoff series. It's starting soon. Playoffs start tomorrow from when I'm recording this. I'm really excited, so let's get into it. So in these past matchups, the Bucks did win 3 out of 4 this season, but it's worth mentioning that Dame did play in all of those games, and all of those games were within 10 points. The Bucks won by 7, 7, and 8, and then the Pacers won their one game by only 1 point on that Tyrese Halliburton 4-point play. Crazy play. Crazy game every time. Could have gone both ways. And Dame will not be playing for at least the start of the series. News report came out from Shams that he might actually be back. He's on track to return, which is kind of crazy considering the condition that he had. But, never want to see anybody injured. But in those past games, shooting variance did play kind of a big role. Bucks shot over 40% from three against the Pacers in the season series, which is, over a percentage point better than their average. And the Pacers only shot about 35% from three against Milwaukee, which is a couple percentage points below their average. There were a lot of opportunities that the Pacers had to convert on threes that they just missed that I don't know if they'll happen again. So it's really hard to predict just based off the season series. Let's talk about the elephant in the room first. The entire Bucks offense is going to be Giannis until Dame comes back, and probably still after that too, which he's been spectacular. Since Dame went out, he's averaging 30, 11, and almost 9 assists. And against the Pacers this season, he's averaging 30, 12, and almost 8 assists. Video game stat lines, I'm sure you've seen some of it. He's had some 40-point triple-doubles, just crazy stuff that he's been doing. For the Pacers, they have Siakam defending him, who, is an okay matchup on paper, but, it's Giannis. He gets kind of whatever he wants, especially in the single coverage. When the Pacers sent 2, he was able to, find his teammates. In those past games, Giannis, getting downhill, bringing the ball up the court was basically unstoppable. He would either, get all the way to the rim against the defense that wasn't set, or he would find his teammates on the wing, and they convert really well on that. The Bucks are the best three-point shooting team in the league this season. When Giannis got the switch onto Miles Turner, he was really effective scoring on him as well. He would kind of walk him down, get into his mid-range shot if Miles Turner backpedaled. I think in the most recent game that they played that the Bucks won, Miles Turner really got burned on Giannis, hit him with 4 or 5 separate just walk down middies. Giannis can run his DHOs, act as a screener and whatever, which his gravity causes a lot of problems for the Pacers defending that. Whenever he was able to catch the ball inside at the free throw line or on the block, the Pacers defense kind of panicked, and he was able to generate some good looks either for himself, scoring, or for his teammates off of that pretty consistently. The Bucks offense has been, kind of centered on Giannis's drive and kick and him creating out of the post. So how crispy are the Pacers rotations going to look off of that? Are they going to commit to walling him up, 2019 Raptors style, or are they going to let him get his and then focus more on taking away the three-point shooting from everybody else? Remains to be seen. And we'll see it develop over the course of the series as well. 7 games. Yeah, so the Pacers are just going to have to be on point rotating off of that and then getting back off of the rebounds so Giannis doesn't just have a free lane downhill in transition. Giannis is going to have to play some heavy minutes, obviously, being basically the entire offense. But he did get into foul trouble in some of the games against the Pacers, so that's something to watch. If he's playing heavy minutes and the Pacers are making an effort to get him into foul trouble, that might cause some problems. Outside of Giannis, where do you get the offense coming from? Because lineups without him or Dame have an offensive rating of 108.7, which isn't horrible, but is much lower than the Bucks offensive rating with either of them on the floor. Kevin Porter Jr., as much of a terrible person as he is having a pretty good stretch recently, but his production isn't necessarily going to be sustainable, at least in my opinion. He's averaging 13 and 5 assists since Dame went out in about 24 minutes a game. But if he's playing more minutes with more defensive attention, I don't know that he's going to hold up super well, because the Pacers have great personnel to throw at him, and then to throw at Dame as well if he comes back, in like Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith if he takes that matchup. Those are both spectacular defenders. And then Benedict Mathurin held up well enough when he had to take on Kevin Porter Jr. in some of the past matchups. Outside of him, Bobby Portis is kind of an okay post-up creator. Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Kuzma maybe can do something, Gary Trent Jr., but these guys are respectfully kind of bums, and they're going to have to play kind of above their level to really consistently generate any offense without Giannis. Pacers pushing in transition. Obviously, everyone knows it. It's the Pacers, the fastest pace in the league or whatever. But them pushing in transition or semi-transition is really going to stress the Bucks' transition defense, who's ranked 20th this season, so pretty bad. In these past games, Milwaukee really had trouble matching up on the break or giving up opportunities for the Pacers to either get a mismatch in transition, get a quick screen going, and get downhill. Stuff like that. And then outside of transition, I'm really not concerned about the Pacers offense either, though. Their system is really tight. They move the ball really well. Tyrese Halliburton's a great driver of the offense. They have the 6th best half-court rating in the league. Their offense is going to find ways to convert in transition and in the half-court. Something that I noticed in those past games is Brook looked like he was kind of struggling to keep up with the pace defending. When he was helping over on the weak side, he wasn't really able to recover or rotate quickly enough when the Pacers were moving the ball. When he was covering, pick and roll or screen actions, he would drop too far a lot and either wasn't fast enough to close out to like a pop threat, or he just got blown by on a drive. On those screen actions, for especially Halliburton, the Bucks sent 2 a lot of the time, so they're going to give up some opportunities for guys like Miles Turner to shoot popping off of those screens. Miles Turner averaged 7 threes a game versus Milwaukee in the season series, and him shooting poorly in that season series was actually a reason that the Pacers lost a lot of those games. He only shot 28.6% on those threes in the season series, despite being almost a 40% three-point shooter on the season. So you'd expect him to be able to convert on a lot of those looks, but we'll have to see. Pascal also was pretty effective as a pick and pop threat, screening for Halliburton as well. When the Bucks didn't really send 2 on Halliburton, like coming off as a screen, he was doing really well getting downhill, either playmaking, getting 2 feet in the paint and finding the kick out, getting the ball moving, or he was also just getting to the rim, which not something he's super known for, but in that those couple games against Milwaukee, he was doing a great job of just getting downhill all the way to the rim if Brook was too slow to rotate over, or if Giannis was occupied. Like, especially when Pascal was screening for him, Giannis was more occupied focusing on Pascal. Halliburton's just looked really good in general recently. He's averaging 20 and 10 with under 2 turnovers since the trade deadline. Just really efficient. And then Pascal will be pretty reliable as a scorer, attacking the mismatches that he'll be able to get, versus some of these guys in the Bucks lineup. Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith will be reliable, in the system. All the guys off the bench generally will be pretty reliable within the system, hitting the threes, keeping the ball moving. But I will say off the bench specifically, I'm looking at Benedict Mathurin and a little bit TJ McConnell as well to be more efficient kind of creating and driving the offense without Halliburton on the floor. Because in some of the past games versus Milwaukee, the bench unit did look a little bit suspect. Mathurin had a couple inefficient games. TJ McConnell had a couple inefficient games. So you'd like to see them maybe tighten that up a little bit, but not a huge concern overall. So to kind of summarize my thoughts on this series, the Bucks have looked shaky, but I mean, Giannis is the best player in the East, top 3 player in the league, and he's been able to carry the Bucks to 10-4 record with an over 120 offensive rating since Dame went out, which is pretty crazy. Admittedly, it is against a lot of bad teams in the East in that stretch, but I mean, it's undeniable what he's been able to do. But it's going to be Giannis versus the world, and honestly, I don't hate Giannis's chances. To really drive it home, I think the Pacers have a better just team offense. They have the tools to punish the weaknesses that the Bucks have defensively, that being their transition defense and their rotations against the ball movement, which are the 2 things that the Pacers offense loves the most, is that transition attack and that ball movement. And I think in some of the past games that the Bucks won, they had shooting variants go in their favor, and now they're also missing Dame, who was hitting some pretty big shots in clutch time in those games. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have to predict the Pacers in 7 games, but it'll be really fun. I think Giannis is going to have some video game stat lines. It'll just be another entertaining series in a year with plenty of entertaining first-round series. And that's all I've got for this one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more of these videos covering the playoffs as they happen. And I'll see you in the next one.